Hey everyone, Simon here with a review of Tamiku. Tamiku, which I was purely interested in originally by the name and name alone, is a retro arcade classic inspired game that's available for PS4, Nintendo Switch and PC. It's the PS4 version you see on your screens. The game reminds me heavily of Donkey Kong and a little bit of Burger Time as well, because of the way how the stages are kind of vertically built. You play as a character that needs to go to each level and release all of the balloons that are in the levels, and those are those blue and red circles. When you get to them, you need to, on the blue ones, just mash once on one of the buttons and it will kind of inflate and it will float off nice and green and happy. The red ones require a little bit of button mashing to get going. Your problem with this is that enemies will be patrolling each of the levels as they go, and they'll patrol from level to level. They'll go up and down. Some of them will float diagonally. And the reason why this game reminds me heavily of Donkey Kong is that you've got also enemies that will kind of tumble down the screen. And as you can see, there's like jump points everywhere. So every time like a log hits that, it will kind of like flop down and then it will continue going. There's a screen wrap effect on this game as well, and it heavily influences how you play the game, because enemies will use it to their advantage and you need to use it to yours as well. So like there's a ghost level, for example, where there's a fire ghost that kind of runs left and right, and it will use a screen wrap very effectively, not only for itself but also for its projectiles it will fire at you. The trick to this is that when you get to about the 2/3 point in each level, you'll then hit panic mode. And what happens is that if you've got any red balloons left, they turn to bombs. And then they start like counting down to explosion. And so you need to prioritise getting the red balloons out of the way as best as possible so that you can then minimise the amount of game over that potentially might happen. Because if a balloon explodes, it's the end of the game and game over and you restart again. Similarly, if you get hit, then you restart the level. If you get hit several times, then it's game over again there. There is a vague timer countdown. It's not particularly useful, I must admit, mainly because you are normally killed by the time you get there. And then at the end of the first initial 8 levels, the game kind of replays itself again in like extra hard mode, where when you hit that panic time, all the balloons that are left turn to bombs. So you have to be precise, quick, memorize rather where the enemy patterns come from and where they go, and it is quite a challenge, especially in that second playthrough round. The issues that I have with Tamiku are that the difficulty curve is steep quick. So once you've kind of done those initial 8 levels, the second playthrough is redonkulous and very difficult to actually complete and get through. The game then ends, so there's actually a very tiny scope of what Tamiku actually offers. So if you are really good at arcade classic games, you'll be in and out of this one like a breeze, and you've only got high scores for yourself to kind of go up against. There's nothing else out there. Tamiku is also a game that screams, I would have been really great at having a 2-player game mode. And I really wish they would have done, because having either a race mode where you could then send bombs over to each other in each other's play area would have been quite good, or even having it as a co-op mode would have been really fun as well. I know that would have kind of really negated the challenge of the game, but it would have been good fun to have had. The other issue that I have is that just in terms of its actual scope, it's really, really small for what it has to offer and the price that it gives. I really like the music, I like the aesthetic and the art style. I do enjoy these retro classic style games, but this one just kind of stops at the point where it becomes quite interesting. And what I would have preferred to have had is a variety of different level layouts. That like 16 levels is not enough for this type of game. It needed more, and it needed some more bells and whistles and varieties aside from the single player mode to really make it an essential and worthwhile purchase. What I would say though is that the fundamental gameplay mechanics and the way how this game plays is actually quite fun and fine. So if you spot this one on a sale, I'd probably recommend it, especially if you really do like your retro games. But at £3.99, I feel like it's a tad overpriced for what it has to offer. So there'll be a written review of this over on higherplanegames.com. Any questions you've got, leave them down below and I'll get back to you on them. Happy popping! Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share or a pledge. Thanks for watching.